Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari, narrated by Alisha. Part 1, The Cognitive Revolution 1, An Animal of No Significance. About 14 billion years ago, matter, energy, time, and space came into being in what is known as the Big Bang. The story of these fundamental features of our universe is called physics. About 3 lakh years after their appearance, matter and energy started to coalesce into complex structure called atoms, which then combine into molecules. The story of atoms, molecules, and their interaction is called chemistry. About 4 billion years ago, on a planet called Earth, certain molecules combined to form particularly large and intricate structures called organisms. The story of organism is called biology. About 70,000 years ago, organisms belonging to the species Homo sapiens started to form even more elaborate structures called cultures. The subsequent development of these human cultures is called history. Three important revolutions shaped the course of history. The cognitive revolution kick-started history about 70,000 years ago. The agriculture revolution sped it up about 12,000 years ago. The scientific revolution, which got underway only 500 years ago, may well end history and start something completely different. This book tells the story of how these three revolutions have affected humans and their fellow organisms. There were humans long before there was history. Animals, much like modern humans, first appear about 2.5 million years ago, but for countless generations they did not stand out from the myriad other organisms that populated the planet. On a hike in East Africa 2 million years ago, you might well have encountered a familiar cast of human characters: anxious mother cuddling their babies and clutches of carefree children playing in the mud, temperamental youths chafing against the dictates of society, and weary elders who just wanted to be left in peace, chest thumping machos trying to impress the local beauty, and wise old matriarchs who had already seen it all. These archaic humans loved, played, formed close relationships, and competed for status and power, but so did chimpanzees, baboons, and elephants. There was nothing special about humans. Nobody, least of all humans themselves, had any inkling that their descendant would one day walk on the moon, split the atom, fathom the genetic code, and write history books. The most important thing to know about prehistoric human is that they were insignificant animal with no more impact on the environment than gorillas, fireflies, or jellyfish. Biologists classify organisms into species. Animals are said to belong to the same species if they tend to mate with each other, giving birth to fertile offsprings. Horses and donkeys have a recent common ancestor and share many physical traits, but they show little sexual interest in one another. They will mate if induced to do so, but their offsprings, called mules, are sterile. Mutation in donkey DNA can therefore never cross over to horses or vice versa. The two types of animals are consequently considered two distinct species moving along separate evolutionary paths. By contrast, a bulldog and spaniel may look very different, but they are members of the same species sharing the same DNA pool. They will happily mate and their puppies will grow up to pair off with other dogs and produce more puppies. Species that evolved from a common ancestor are bunched together under the heading genus. Lions, tigers, leopard, and jaguars are different species within the genus Panthera. Biologists label organisms with a two-part Latin name, genus followed by species. Lions, for example, are called Panthera leo, the species Leo, the genus Panthera. Presumably, everyone reading this book is a Homo sapiens, the species sapiens or wise of the genus Homo, which means man. Genera, in their turn, are grouped into families such as cats, lion, cheetah, house cat, the dogs, wolves, foxes, jackals, and the elephants, mammoths, mastodons. All members of a family trace their lineage back to a founding matriarch or patriarch. All cats, for example, from the smallest house kitten to the most ferocious lion, share a common feline ancestor who lived about 25 million years ago. Homo sapiens too belong to a family. This banal fact used to be one of history's most closely guarded secrets. Homo sapiens long preferred to view itself as set apart from animals, an orphan who has no family, no cousins, and most importantly, no parents. But that's just not the case. Like it or not, we are members of a large and particularly noisy family called the great apes. Our nearest living relatives included chimpanzees, gorillas, and orangutans. The chimpanzees are the closest. Just 6 million years ago, a single female ape had two daughters. One became the ancestor of all chimpanzees, the other is our own grandmother.